Hello there. It is 8 p.m. or so in the UK, and in Boston it is 2 p.m. Right? Three. Sorry. Okay. And I'm joined today by Mr. Joe Powers, who I'm very pleased to have back on the show, creator of the original page Bring Back Twin Peaks, which I helped him with the Missing Cooper campaign, which has now got to the level that Russians are making their own fake versions of the Missing Cooper poster and selling and making money from it. So we never made anything from it. So um, this then changed into Twin Peaks Worldwide because I kind of thought I'll change it and we'll call it something to do with Step Brothers, basically, because I felt like the way we ran the page, it was like this constant kind of like minor fracas, but it's kind of like in good like, are we best friends now? Yeah. Okay. This is so room for so many activities here. And the activities extended to just basically worldwide people sending in their missing Cooper posters posted everywhere. And it was absolutely like I was kind of like blown away by it, honestly. And I did my bit, but I got a missing Cooper T-shirt, and Charlotte Stewart saw me at the Twin Peaks Festival, and she's like, "Oh, Cooper's missing, is he? Oh no!" And I'm like, uh, "Just a poster we made." And then we watched the show Twin Peaks: The Return. Cooper's missing. He's flown the coop, like about Mr. C. But they're like, Cooper is Dougie Jones. Don't you remember the scene also, right, where Lynch is playing Gordon Coley? He's in the room and he's got his hearing so high, he turns it up so he can hear everything like really loud. And it's a bit like me with these headphones I've got, which are like really high quality audio, but the trouble is when you want to replace them, it's difficult to get the parts and so. And anyway, with like him, there's a guy window cleaning. Do you remember that part? And he's like, it's, there's this sound effect where he goes like, kind of like, and it just shows how much sound is a part of his films actually, and also I think just an important part of people's day-to-day life, but also like he's on the front cover of the new Sight and Sound magazine, not the previous David Lynch cover that came out, which was all about Christabel mainly, and just kind of Lynch talking about, I can't remember really, it was just talking about all sorts of things. But then this one is more music specific, and I've not read it properly, but it's got like um, music drives me crazy, David Lynch, and I'm like, what? And I'm like, this is a bit late promotion for Christabel for Cellophane Memories, which Lynch described as basically being the first time you listen to it, you're like, I don't really like this. The second time, you kind of like, yeah, okay. Third time, yeah. And they use bits of Angelo Badalamenti in it, but it's an experimental album. You can't really. Um, I mean, it's just a matter of opinion, though, isn't it? But anyway, I just wanted to say thank you for coming on and hope you're all right there, Joe. So you know, you're doing all right. I mean, you had a podcast for a while, if you don't mind mentioning it. It was kind of talking about you and the other people who were on it. Obviously, it was to do with like the kind of twisting your sobriety, to use a song by Tanita Tikaram as an example. The whole idea of being sober in a way as being illuminating, which I think is often very true, but it can be very difficult being bombarded by, the world of the shopping mall when you're like used to sort of just kind of dampening everything down with pints of Guinness or whatever. And you see, it's all about like, I think moderation is the key in many ways in everything really, but it's so difficult to find that balance. And for me especially, like, so I just don't drink now because it's just making me ill really. And if you remember my Romanian girlfriend Morales, she just encouraged me to stop drinking so much because yeah, it was just like not working anymore. Like I was sick all over her curtains one time. I mean, yeah, and like, can you believe that she stayed with me for 3 years after that? Like, so she, I know she was like flipping, a saint really. But I went to Romania twice, where Ray Wise is, yeah. Why? Oh, you mean you'd had a drink or something? You'd had, well, how much? How much had you had to drink? Beer. Oh, for God's sake, Joe. Yeah, that's the problem. Well, all right, fair enough. But vodka just goes straight through you. It's kind of it's okay. Vodka is kind of like a clean alcohol, so it's sort of. But peeing in the corner of your bedroom is. You mean you couldn't find the toilet basically? So yeah, yeah, that's, exactly. And also, like, I appreciate your honesty, but I will just say I've had the same kind of problem, and I'm sober. So no, not peeing in the corner of the room, but I'm talking about waking up in the night. I can't see anything. I'm like bloody hugging a wardrobe. Is this the door? Like I should have some kind of, I don't know, like a nightlight probably, but I just can't. I don't can't bear it. I like, and sleep as well. As you gradually you're kind of getting older, you kind of don't necessarily need quite as much sleep always. Like they say also. Cooper says, "I've just had a session of meditation in lieu of sleep." I mean, that's kind of Cooper, but it's like it is actually true. You can kind of meditate, and it takes you. It's like going down in a lift. It's like, as Lynch always said, it's this weird sensation which I used to have anyway. And the woman who taught me, she said, maybe you don't have to do it quite as long. You don't necessarily have to do 20 minutes, James. She probably just noticed that I had a capability to do it or something. And I used to get this thing when I was not always sleeping enough, and I'd go to London and stuff, see my girlfriend, and I'd feel this kind of like, oof, like I was going like, and I spoke to my mum. I says, "Is this normal or whatever?" She says, "Yeah, it just means you're tired. That's it." It's with me, like I tend to overreact to everything, like kind of, it's Christmas, ah, and then everyone's like, James, James, it's New Year. You know what I mean? Like dressed as an elf or something in the film, with Will Ferrell, and he's like, "It's Christmas." All right, can you just calm down, please? It's October. We've not even had Halloween yet. Like all the stores now here have put up flipping. I went to Nottingham today, and they put up like bloody whole fair. There's like a carousel. There's everything. Then there's all these stores selling flipping. I bought a bra for myself, and I was like, this looks good actually. Nice. Okay, I'm just going to make these cameras bigger now. How do you feel about this? So it's just this is how I will put my glasses on, right? Okay. Um, is this a good look? Because I know you're like more suave than me, really. I would say Can I just say you're one suave fuck? Are they Ray Bans? I'm just. Oh, okay. A more affordable version of the Ray Bans ripoff. So I might have a look into that. No, you urinate on them on the corner in the corner of the room. So yeah, I mean, come on, you've got to christen them, and like it's kind of just not one of your partners there. Uh, oh no, seriously, I could tell you things that you wouldn't even believe. Like, she's looking at it like this, like kind of, you know, like Adele at the bottom of the garden with the wind blowing, like, take it easy. No, what's the song? Go easy on me. And it's always like Adele on her own at the bottom of some garden somewhere with leaves blowing around. Like, and my sister jokes about it. She says, you're like that with like, because you're standing opposite her house looking like, and then she's got a dog called Dandelion, right? And she says, yeah, Dandelion is the same. She'll be just standing there like, I'm, I'm rolling in the deep here, okay? And just take me a walk, please. Pretty emotional. Like, you know, Dandelion, the dog, she'd be like, she's a sheepdog basically. And one night she ran off when they were camping and all these fireworks were going off and stuff. It's like a Twin Peaks kind of um, mixture of crying and then laughing, kind of. It's, she just ran off and then came back covered in hay and stuff. And like, you know, like Andy doing the wine tasting competition. Do you remember that? Yeah. So, what are your thoughts now after about 6, 7 years? It doesn't really feel that long, but um, of of the return. I think the pandemic was a big kind of downer for everybody, but hopefully we're past that now. And you know, I think yeah, like the return. I rewatched a lot of it lately, and I was like, this is so good, you know. But it's not the Twin Peaks we loved. It's kind of this, you know, the scene actually where the guy says, "Don't." He says, Harry Dean Stanton says, "Don't sell your blood" to that guy. He actually lives in the trailer park, or lived, I don't know. And he was going to go to the hospital that day to sell his to give blood or whatever. You get a small amount of cash or something, I don't know. But they says we'll pay you like $800 or $900 if you just be in this scene today. And he was like, okay. Well, so it's like it was kind of part using the actual and other actors when they came onto the set, they would meet Mark Frost or something, and then David would do say 20 minutes of meditation in his trailer. Then they go in, and the whole of the trailer, the dining areas were just set up with rows and rows of donuts, apparently, like in the pilot. And yet the Twin Peaks world of the Return was like it is Twin Peaks, but it isn't at the same time. It's like both. And for instance, one example of that is an establishing shot. And this blows. I was like, what? The establishing shot for Buckhorn is actually an establishing shot that was filmed in some other thing that was connected to the production, but Lynch didn't. It was like done without him, and they did. It was Butte, Montana. Do you not remember in the pilot and the pilot episode? What does Bobby say to Machen? He goes to I'm calling the actors. He goes Butte, and I thought well, when I saw that, I thought he meant like oh beautiful, like. But he meant both really. He kind of means like what the hell are you doing, Shelley? But he can't swear in the pilot. But you remember like get that pretty pig and all that, like the. And it was still pretty strong stuff material. I also rewatched um, the Maddie scenes, and then I watched also up to where Laidland was like still carrying on, and it looks like he's going to hit Cooper with the golf cue, and I was kind of like, okay, you know, it's like Twin Peaks: The Return is like a really solid 25 years later update in many ways, but I think it never went into just kind of pastiche or sort of pleasing the audience deliberately. In fact, it almost did the opposite at times, um, especially with the Freddy punching the Bob ball scene. That was yeah, for me it was a little. I've rewatched it and it's quite. It does actually fit in because that's kind of early on in 17, part 17, and then it kind of goes really right back into Fire Walk with Me, and we have a replay of and the way they did it was ingenious. I was like, Is this shots with Cheryl Lee that they filmed during Firewalk with Me, or and then they repeat Cooper saying, "I'm going to take you home" or whatever. But he's and then it goes out of focus. If you notice, there's a shot in 17, and it goes out of focus of the woods, and then Julie Cruz comes in and everything, and then they repeat it, but it's in focus of the woods, and it's like Cooper is finally gaining clarity, and he looks. There's a red light on his face, and he looks over, and Mike is there. So he's kind of like he'd been in the red room the whole time. In a way, and that's why he says, "I've always." No, Mr. C says, "I've always been at home" or something, because it's like it's a projection in some sense. I do think there are aspects of it which are kind of happening in the real world, but it's like it's happening, 5 minutes in the future. This whole idea they had with Firewall with Me was the same. It was that's Engels though, and Lynch, and then I think Mark Frost did about as much as he could, like probably about 45%, and then Lynch 55% of the Firewall. There's so many things that I noticed after the fact, like in the last episode, Carrie says to Richard Cooper, she says, "Is it cold in Washington?" She goes, at first she goes, "Washington, D.C." And then he says, "No, Washington State." She says, "Is it cold?" And he goes, "If you've got a coat, bring one." And she says, "I've got two coats." And then I was like, what did Dr. Amp say when he was spraying the gold shovels? Two coats guaranteed. It's like, a lot of it is like song lyrics, like, with the James Marshall and Freddie, played by Jake Wardle. Like they're kind of, sitting at the back, especially sitting at the back of the Great Northern, and he says like, "Drag the comb across my head," or just joking, like, and it's like, but it seems like Freddie, he's too young to know such a song as that particularly well because they've not established any idea that he's a big music fan. It's entirely possible that he could be a massive Beatles fan, but have you seen that video that Lynch did for Donovan recent in the last year or so? It's crazy. It's just like, yeah, it's like really full on, but it's quite a good song. But he's kind of like wearing blue, and then he's got long grey hair and stuff, and he's kind of going like this, kind of. It's like, what the hell? And I saw Christabel back in 2019 at a David Lynch exhibition, here in Manchester, and I was just like, and I was staying on a canal boat that night, and everybody like who was doing the videos with me was making fun of it, saying that I was too scared to go and approach her and stuff. But the thing is, I stood near it, and then I just thought, I don't really know what I'm going to say now because I don't want to go up and say you were really good in the return because I was too tired to be. I didn't really want to bother her, so I just thought I'll let other people speak. And then I was just like, she's just wandering around here, kind of socializing with people. And I was like, oh my God, like this woman is kind of like out of this world, She looks, yeah, but in real life, she looks like you don't see many people walking around like that, and with that level of talent as well. Though it's all about the talent at the end of the day. It's like Morrissey now touring and stuff. The only thing really he's still got. Well, that sounds a bit ridiculous, a bit fatalistic, but he's done like recent shows and he's just sort of stormed off the stage, but mainly by bouncers because there's so many people getting on the stage and it got out of hand. But the main thing he's got is he's still got his voice, and his voice is still holding up a lot, even though I know he's had that he had to have his to scrape for some kind of potential cancer there, but luckily it didn't really go too far. And you saw him a year and a half ago. Where? How much did you have to pay for the tickets? Like, just out of curiosity. Seriously, because I saw him in a small club here, well, like called Rock City in Nottingham, which is a good venue, right? But it's like it can hold about maybe 2000 or something. And it was sort of during the time where he slightly faded out of view after like a Southpaw Grammar. I thought that was brilliant. And I was like, Morrissey himself as well, he was like, this is one of my best albums, definitely. But the record buying public were a bit, okay, like this is not Vauxhall and I, this is like rock or something, or like it's prog rock or something. I mean, it just has like 10-minute drum solos. But then he did the album Maladjusted, and that was pretty badly received because fairly probably because it's not the best album by any means. I like it, but yeah, he had these ups and downs in his career, and then he came back after about 6 more years, and he was like, number two in the charts here, and kind of seemed to kind of conquer the world after that. And he just seems to have. Sorry, that was just someone doing a missed call. If you could hear that, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I don't. I know you're on your lunch break basically, and so it's kind of like that's. If I'm speaking a bit rushed, I was just trying to fit in a bunch of things, but I feel like I've not asked you enough in a way about, for instance, your feeling about the return and the idea that if like Lynch is interested, he said, "I'm interested in the Carrie Page story." Like, how would that work though? I don't understand. It's so no, it'd be like Wisteria, which they yeah, it's like, is it going to be on Wisteria Lane? I mean, because there was a film made with Cheryl Lee, right, and Grace Zabriskie, which I've never seen, and I really want to find it, but it's very difficult to find. And like, have you watched Lucky with Lynch and Harry Dean Stanton? It is very good, but uh, it's its own thing. It's not a film made by Lynch. Like, I don't know the director, but it's definitely something that I'd recommend. But I actually was a bit kind of uh, didn't watch it all the way through and then came back to it, and I kind of lost what was going off a bit. But I mean, it just shows how good like, an actor Lynch was or is, and Harry Dean Stanton was as well, and is. Just watch Pretty in Pink. So yeah. What about in Wild at Heart though? I rewatched that recently, and I was like, this film is like strong. Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah. And that's come out in and that's come out in like a 4K remaster, which there's a certain degree of kind of some people are a bit like, I don't like it being all smoothed out, like, but to me it looks like it's made yesterday, and so I'm kind of like, I don't mind. But I mean, Alien is just like an incredible film. It's better than Aliens easily, but I mean, Aliens is okay, but Aliens is more like just the Gunko war film, really. Uh, yeah, it is very similar. Yeah, the first one is brilliant, and I forgot how good it was. Like, if you watch Terminator, you're like, this is no way this was done on a low budget, but it was. It was made on a lower budget. Didn't get a permit. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you could never do that now unless you were just filming on your iPhone. Like, you can't just go and film on some street and then like now they'd be like, "Hey, we've heard that you are filming in this area because we caught you on CCTV and you have to pay us this and much and that money and et cetera, et cetera." And it just like they don't let you do anything now. So probably. I don't know where it was filmed even. I mean, obviously it's like LA, isn't it, and stuff around California. But it looks better than Alien Romulus, frankly. Yeah. I'll just put my glasses on to think. Just What are you talking about now? Alien Romulus? You fell asleep quarter of a way in. Okay, well, no, yeah, don't watch Alien Romulus to wind down. Like, they, okay, fair enough. South America, yeah, like they were mad on Aha. Like, Aha had the biggest paying audience of any band ever in 1991 of 198,000 paying customers. And then MTV is just like, nah, forget about that. It's like, they're just like Take On Me band, you know. They just like, no, like now they're one of the biggest touring bands in the world, like in the top 50 or something. Their reunion tours and stuff. You mean you're the half? But you're not actually married, are you? Right? I mean, I'm just interested, you know, in getting to know. So you're saying I should stop writing to your partner because I keep sending some uh, art of mine, which was based on based on the fan film Queen of Hearts. I don't know if you've seen that. And she said, "Why are you sending me this? I'm watching Predator v Alien. Stop, stop sending me this crap, bitch." And I know, fair enough, right? Bloody hell! But look at this, by the way. Oh, here we've got some good stuff for you. Don't worry, the fan's off. No, it's like a phone. It's a phone box. A biography here of Greta Garbo. The last Aha album was called this. True North. They filmed it during lockdown. There's a film. Do you know that last year Aha played the Hollywood Bowl? Yeah, and people were like, "Oh my god, this band is brilliant." They played with an orchestra. Yeah, yeah, I know, but they've had to fight for it for so long because in America, basically, the record company dropped them after the second album because they were like, "This hasn't got any Take On Me on it. What is this?" And like Paul, the it's arguable. There's two different. You can watch Aha the movie. You can also watch True North the movie. In Aha the movie documentary, it's like they do is seem to like get in the studio if they ever do, and then have like kind of minor disagreements about everything. And Paul, for instance, he was trying to become like a rock producer with the second album, like with live drums on it and live guitar and live, vocals as much as possible. And so it's much more rough and romantic. And then Warner Brothers America was sort of like, we don't really know how to promote this because, like, we can promote Culture Club, for instance, or Tears for Fears, but this is kind of like too Norwegian, probably. This kind of, yeah, I mean, Tears for Fears are a little bit Aha-esque. I think I really like that song they did actually, like, Sowing the Seeds of Love, for instance. And they said, which is a kind of a Beatles tribute in a way. It's like it almost has two voices in it. Both of them sing, don't they? And it's like the Lennon McCartney kind of to and fro slightly. But that song was so popular at the time. I mean, it was bloody massive. Um, and I remember like hearing it every time. I'd be like, and I would literally be sowing the seeds of love by planting kind of these. I don't know if you've heard of these particular kind of flowers called nosegays. Um, and they would like come out like they look like noses, but they're called nosegays. Um, they're not. I don't mean they're like a homosexual flower or something. And I don't know why you're laughing about that. That's not true. Um, I honestly cannot give you any kind of like solid answer to that because it just seems like there's that wisteria craze, and it seems like they were having the Hollywood, no, the well, the Graceland meetup in 2020, and all that. And then it just seemed to be, obviously the pandemic hit, and so everything just stopped. I think they were kind of in pre-production, to be realistic about it, and then instead Lynch has just concentrated on music and painting and stuff like that. And because I mean, I don't think he can make like another Inland Empire, for instance. That would be a bit much. Like, 3 hours filming in like Poland and America and stuff, and he's kind of like, yeah. I mean, I think it's so interesting in a way that, for instance, I've just learned that a year ago I learned that Mädchen Meek was becoming a director, and she's sort of like directing different TV shows, and that's the same thing as Jen Lynch. Like with Jen Lynch, she probably wants to do films, obviously, but now in Hollywood, the way it is, TV is like the new films, isn't it? And it's sort of, I think to make a film, you've got to be probably operating on a much smaller budget than films used to be, because they're now everything's shot digitally mostly. And I don't know if you've seen the film Civil War, for instance. That's Yeah, I recommend that. It's the new film by the director of 28 Days Later and all that. And so it's Danny Boyle. It's really good. It's kind of a bit. It's kind of hard hitting at times, but it's really good. It's like got Kirsten Dunst in it, her real life husband Jesse Plemons, and it's one scene where he just starts pointing at people, and he's holding a gun, and he's got these kind of weird pink shades on, and he goes, "Are you an American? Are you an American? Where are you from? Where are you from?" She's like, Nebraska or no, or I don't know, Utah or something. "You're an American, okay, right. Where are you from?" She says, like for Texas or something. "You're an American, okay. Where are you from?" And this guy's like, "South America." And he says, "What do you mean, South America?" And he goes, "Mexico." And he just goes, and he's got all these bodies in a pit. Jesse Plemons. He used to be a bit like chubbier looking, and he altered his diet, and he kind of, it just means he can go for different roles basically. Like with Kirsten Dunst in that film, I don't think she wears any makeup at all, and she basically plays like a photojournalist. But what? You met Kirsten Dunst? No. Oh, it's like you mean it's like. Do you mean MTV or something? Or yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember. Yeah. Do they still do that? Not really. Oh, really? Do you know that James Grixoni, who played Jesse, one of the deputies or one of the, he's barely in many scenes. He's just in scenes and he kind of appears and goes, "Sheriff Truman, do you want to see my new car?" And he's like, "No, Jesse, we're doing something here. Later, okay." And he's like, yeah, the last thing I was going to say is he was a body double for Tobey Maguire. But what did you think when you saw Kirsten Dunst in the flesh, as it were? I'm talking about her appearance because I always found Kirsten Dunst like in, she's like an angel, isn't she? She's sort of, she's like a chubby cheeked angel, kind of. If you Fargo season two, she's absolutely brilliant in that, hilarious. So I just, or you mean, have you seen the film Dick with Kirsten Dunst and Michelle Williams, and they become involved with Nixon and everything? You should see that. It's really funny. I know. I used to work in Blockbuster, and I kept saying to people, "How about getting Dick out?" And they're like, "What?" I'm surprised I even lasted as long as I did in that job. And yeah, yeah, yeah. But can I just say it's been great to catch up with you, Joe. I really appreciate it. So let's hope we can do some videos kind of, in the months to come. I know you're busy there and everything, and I just appreciate you taking the time. So, and this is a recording, so it's kind of gonna. I'll see. I've got to try and download it fast and stuff before I go from Restream to StreamYard. I'll edit this bit out probably. So, no, yeah, definitely. Okay. See you in the trees, and bye for now. See you.